Hey, I live in St. George, Utah. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I just wanted to respond to that video and add to it my own story. 12 years ago, I was traveling through Vernal and stopped at a 7-Eleven with my daughter to get a drink. Apparently on Saturday nights they partied at the 7-Eleven because there were no parking places, and so I parked in the handicapped parking place but stayed in the car. Told her to hurry. I was in the car with my little dog. My daughter was 13 years old at the time. Across the cement barrier from me in another parking lot there was an old truck with 4 plainclothes guys, baseball caps, cowboy shirts, jeans, talking in the back of a truck. One approached my car. His name was Sergeant Russell Lee. He didn't tell me that, but he asked for my license. I gave it to him. He apparently wrote me a ticket, came over, asked me to sign the ticket, and I said, not knowing I needed to sign it, I said, just give it to me. It's a parking ticket, right? And he said, yes. And I said, just give it to me. He said, you're not going to sign it? And I said, do I need to? And he goes, get out of the car. Whereupon what ensued was my daughter freaking out. He told me that I was arrested for resisting arrest, which I hadn't even known that I was arrested yet. I said, what's your name? He would not identify himself. He said he'd already told me, at which point I became scared because I know policemen have to identify themselves. And I asked for him to call for backup. He did, and I said I would leave the door open and sit down in my car because everything was moving too fast. He wouldn't allow me to sit down, and I said, no, I'll just sit here and leave the door open. I sat down, and he took my arm, twisted it behind my back. I said he was hurting me, and he said it's supposed to hurt, so he twisted it even more, and it tore my rotator cuff, for which I needed physical therapy following that. The plainclothes person arrived, took me to jail. He ran warrants on me twice, saying that he wanted me to stay in jail. I told him no thanks, I would post bail. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I live in St. George. I work with the police all the time. They've always been real helpful to me here. But apparently they have a different standard in Vernal. So I was booked. I had to get a lawyer to fight that when I got home. They reduced the charges to parking in a handicapped parking space. Since then I found out that Sergeant Russell Lee was originally in Iron County, Utah. He was dismissed because of misbehavior and sent to Beaver County, Utah. In Beaver, he assaulted a city councilman, and he was sent to Wendover, Utah. In Wendover, he was dismissed due to misbehavior and sent to Vernal. And in Vernal, he was put behind a desk and made a sergeant. And he and his boys were just out looking for trouble that night. And a lady passing through with her bike and her 13-year-old daughter and her little chihuahua apparently posed a terrible threat. Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I think Vernal has a little bit of work that they need to do. I got a professional form from Utah Highway Patrol, issued a professional complaint, sent it into Utah Highway Patrol 12 years ago, and have never received a response. So that's me. I think they need to work on that, don't you?